being in the genealogy space. I love that so many of us are excited about genealogy and how it fills our lives. So thank you for being here. Today we're going to talk about how to hire a genealogist you can trust. I'm Jessica Taylor. I'm with Legacy Tree Genealogists. And since 2004, we've been helping clients discover their ancestors. And so we recognize the amount of trust that our clients are putting in us when they hire us to find their ancestors. And so I want to help you have the best experience that you can when you get to that point. So first, we're going to talk about when you might decide that you want to hire help. I know that so many of us here actually love the search, right? We love looking at the records. We love figuring out this puzzle. It's fun. But sometimes we all hit brick walls. And, raise your hand if you have a brick wall. Who has a brick wall? Okay, we all have a brick wall, right? If you don't, it's because you don't know yet that you have one, right? So we all do, and that's one of the reasons why people hire us often. There are other reasons. Sometimes what might be a brick wall to you isn't a brick wall to someone else. If you're searching your ancestors and you come to a place that they lived that's in a language that you don't understand, or that you need records from a place that you can't get them from, that can be a brick wall to you. And so we have clients who hire us to help them get past that point. Also, lack of experience or knowledge can create problems that other people might not have. A genealogist works with those problems every day, and so they have approaches that might be different than you've tried before. Also, lack of time. We just have genealogists who will hire us because they don't want to take the time to track down those things, or as special gifts. We love getting Mother's Day and Father's Day gifts, anniversaries, special birthdays, Christmas gifts, so those are really enjoyable for us. Okay, so let's talk about how to evaluate a genealogist. And I apologize that we're kind of going in and out here. I don't know why. Just keeping things exciting up there on the screen. So for the past 12 years or so, we've been evaluating genealogists who want to work for us. And through that time, we've really been able to refine what we're looking for in a really good genealogist. Someone who's going to be motivated to track down what our clients need, someone who's going to present them with a product that is high quality. So let's talk about that. When you are looking for a genealogist, there are three things that I want you to keep in mind. The first thing is work samples. You hire a genealogist to provide you with information, and that information is usually going to be communicated through a research report. And so before you hire them, you want to look at some samples of that genealogist's research reports and see how well they can present the information that they've found. So we'll talk about that some more in a minute. Also credentials, we'll talk about, and reviews. So on our website, we have several genealogy reports that our clients have allowed to be public so that people can look at how we present information and how we look at information and how we attack a research problem. When you're looking at a client or a genealogist's work sample, you want to ask yourself two questions. The first one is, can they adequately provide genealogical proof? And we'll talk about that in a minute. The other question you want to ask is, can they spend their time in an effective and efficient way? Because as you know, genealogy can take quite a bit of time, and hiring a genealogist is not cheap, it's professional service. So you want them to use that time as effectively as possible. So the genealogical proof standard is something that was formalized by the Board for Certification of Genealogists, and it has 5 aspects to it. First of all, they should do a reasonably exhaustive search. So as you're looking at their sample report, you want to make sure that they're familiar with a lot of records in that area, and that they search a lot of different types of records. Also that they provide citations. Citations are important not just so that you know what records they looked at, but because You want the money that you spent on a genealogist to last more than just your generation. Your children and grandchildren and great-grandchildren are hopefully going to have access to that work. And when they look at those reports, they're not going to just take them at face value. They're going to look at those citations and the sources. And so you want to be able to know that they're going to be able to access those same sources 2 generations from now and know that that money was well spent and that the genealogy is correct. The next one is analysis of sources, and that goes hand in hand with this one, which is resolution of conflicts. So, as you've been doing genealogy, often it starts pretty straightforward, and then as you get a few generations back, you come across records that have conflicts, and one record says one thing, and one record says another thing, and how do you make those make any sense? And genealogists deal with that all the time. That's a lot of what creates brick walls. And so being able to look at various sources and resolve those conflicts and figure out, the why behind why a record said something and what that really means is important. And then a written statement, of course, you want to make sure that that's presented in a professional way. Okay, on to the second question, which was use of time. So researchers should follow a plan that makes the best use of their time. And one aspect of that is that first, they're going to cast a wide net when they're researching. Meaning that they're going to look at the easiest records first. They're going to go to the internet, they're going to go to indexes, and try to find as much quick and easy information as possible. But then, after that, they're going to get to the more difficult records too, and make sure that they're, actually going deep and finding the information that they need. So, if you're looking at a sample report and all you're seeing are internet sources, my feeling on that would be that genealogist is a little bit unmotivated, or we could say lazy. The internet is easy, and calling a funeral home, going to a courthouse, even looking at microfilm at the family history library, those things are harder. But you want to make sure that your genealogist is willing to do them if they need to. Okay, now we'll talk about credentials. So on our website, on legacytree.com/about, we have our team, and we have listed the credentials of people on our team. There are several credentials in genealogy, and I want to help you understand what those are. The first one is the AG, that means accredited genealogist. There's also the CG, meaning certified genealogist. And then another is a bachelor's degree in family history. I went that track, that's available at BYU. It's a great program. And then people can get certificates in genealogy, and also years of experience can matter. So in my experiences, I've been evaluating genealogists over the years. I've found that what these actually mean can vary quite a bit. I know many very talented AGs and CGs, and I've also come across some whose work product was not something that I would hire. I've known many people out of the BYU program that are wonderful. Sometimes it's just years of experience that has really mattered. They've had, 10 years working in Poland. So that can really vary, but you do want to be aware that those things are available, and that at least you should know that your genealogist is committed to genealogy, that they're committed to being a professional genealogist. They've taken, courses, or they've done training, or they've had a lot of experience. Okay, the last thing we'll talk about is reviews. So many people have made reviews available, even for genealogists. And, as we all know, we love reviews, right? I shop on Amazon all the time because I can read reviews. So we've also opened ourselves up to reviews, and we'll talk about a few. There's the Better Business Bureau. They started in 1912 so that people could have access to truth in advertising, so they could look at, the behind the scenes of a company. So if you go to the Better Business Bureau, there's a search bar there, and you can search for a company. There are customer reviews. People can review positively, negatively. They even have a neutral option, so you can learn more about a company. Also, Facebook has made reviews possible on pages. So even individual genealogists who have a small genealogy company will often have a Facebook page. So you want to look and see if there are reviews there. Also Google. So if you go to Google and search for someone, often there on the right side you'll see additional information, and you can get access to Google reviews. We're super proud of our 4.8 over there. We work really hard for our reviews. So we're proud of that. And then there are a few others. There's Angie's List, which is more geared towards reviewing professional services. So you might want to check out Angie's List. And then Yelp also. Let's talk a little bit just about what we've been able to do for people. This client, Leah Catlow, lives in Australia. She has ancestors from India, so it was really hard for her to figure out how to push that line back. So we were able to help her to get access to those records in India and push her ancestry back. She says, I know how hard it is to find records in India. I was quite pleased you got as many as you did, and I just want to thank everyone who was involved in my family history project. So we love being able to help her. This is what the Google Plus reviews look like. Martin Chavez commented on how much he enjoys our goal process. Every time a client orders research from us, we make sure that we completely understand their research goal, and that research goal is approved word for word by our client. All of our researchers who work on that project read and understand that same goal, so we're all on the same page about what the client wants from us. So he says, I particularly appreciate the way that Legacy Tree gets a crystal clear set of measures of success and then delivers on those promptly. So we appreciated that from him. This is what Better Business Bureau reviews look like. This client, let's see if I remember right. Oh yeah, she ordered because she didn't feel like she had the time or the patience to do the work, and so she hired us, and we were happy to help her with that. So what are some things that a professional genealogist can do for you? What can we do for you from Legacy Tree Genealogists? We can help you find unknown ancestors. We can help you go in depth. We can find stories, documents, history, things that maybe you wouldn't have been able to think about or find on your own. We'll have projects where someone just wants to learn, a lot of details about their great-grandparent, for example. We can do DNA analysis. We have a lot of clients who hire us who have taken a DNA test, but they don't know where to go from that. They don't know how to really pull out the information that DNA test provides. So we can do that. And then we do special gifts, and we love that as well. Just one more comment from one of our clients, Martin Marriott. He said, and I love this comment because it really hits at the meaning behind genealogy. This is why we at Legacy Tree do what we do. This is the meaning behind what we do. And he said, what a wonderment it was to gaze upon with what I can only describe as a feeling of majesty, my lineage. I was extremely happy with what was found. We love helping people feel more complete in their lives by discovering where they came from and what the history of them are, the history of their family. That is what makes this work so exciting for us, and we're just so happy to be a part of this genealogy space and to be able to serve here. If you want to hear from us every week, we provide professional research tips once a week through our newsletter. Our blog is at legacytree.com/blog, and you can subscribe there if you'd like. So again, that's legacytree.com/blog. And if you have questions, feel free to email us. It's info@legacytree.com. We'd be happy to talk with you. We have a Facebook page if you want to interact with us there also. Thanks so much for listening, and I hope you have a great rest of RootsTech. It's a great place.